Ooh, welcome to Purana Talk with Leon and Alan. It's a special bedhead edition.
All right. Garuda Purana, second Kanda, chapter 32. It's all been about death, but this one's the origin of life. Garuda said, oh, great. We got questions again. Questions for Vishnu. All right. How does life come into being in the four species of living beings? Let's just start with a footnote. Four species. Svedaja, generated by warm vapors or sweat. They suggest insects are born of sweat or warm vapors. Well, that's interesting that it's extended to warm vapors. I've seen it referred to as sweat-born. I thought that was an interesting way to take years to come into being. But I'm seeing something a little more subtle in it. Like warm steaminess gives birth to stuff. I think they're seeing that. And there's a lot of that warm steaminess in India.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you.
They've seen stuff grow on the walls.
And stuff grows. All right. Udbija, and bij is seed, and so this is seed germinated, sprouting, germinating as a plant. Udbija. Undaja, unda, egg, ja, born. But, born of an egg would be too easy, so they decided to translate it as oviparous. You got that one in your vocabulary, don't you? And they're saying, in other words, birds.
And then?
Jarayuja, womb-born, or viviparous. Human beings.
Not just.
Now I know mammals, but it's giving that as the examples where humans like.
Mm-hmm.
Insects, for example, plants, for example, birds, for example, humans, for example. But
plants and reptiles are both
mammals.
egg-born.
All right. How does life come into being in the four species of living beings? That's how far we got. How are the following formed? Skin, blood, flesh, fat, marrow, bone, the living nucleus, hands and feet, tongue, generative and excretory organs, hair, nails, joints, ducts, and the different lines drawn over the body, lust and anger, fear and shame, mind, joy, skin of various colors, punctured with holes and shrouded with a network of fatty matter. I consider it a wonderful piece of jugglery in this world of human existence. O Mighty One, who is the guiding hand here, O Lord? Let me know all about this matter. Well, I know Vishnu is like, me. All right. The Lord said.
He farmed some of it out.
Yeah, it's true. Outsources. I shall tell you a great secret with the decisive method of unraveling the same. By knowing which one becomes omniscient. O Garuda, you have put a pertinent question about the origin of life, hence listen attentively. The first 4 days of menstrual flow of blood shall be avoided when the sin of a Brahman slaughter resides in her. That's where we start?
Okay. What verse is that?
7. The first 4 days of menstrual flow of blood shall be avoided when the sin of a Brahman's slaughter resides in her. In other words, having sex or contact with a woman in the first 4 days of her menstrual cycle is similar to killing a Brahmin. Sounds a little extreme, really. Brahma had removed this sin from Indra and apportioned a fourth in women. Hence, even the glancing at her face during these days shall be eschewed. A woman in her menses is an outcast on the first day, a slayer of Brahman on the second, a washerwoman on the third. She becomes pure on the fourth day. After 7 days, she becomes pure enough to take part in the worship of maidens and deities. If conception takes place within 7 days, the progeny is impure. So, no sex during those first 7 days. Even though she becomes purer on the fourth day, she's not pure enough until after the seventh. Not pure enough for the mains and deities and problematic conception. 11. Whatever be thoughts of parents during the intercourse, like that is the progeny. There is no doubt in this. So, what the parents are thinking about when they're doing it is going to affect what they get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the basic principle of sex magic, which you'll find in Culling and a number of other Western writers, including Aleister Crowley. And this is where they're getting it from, is the Knot lineage of yoga teaches this. Whether they got it from here or where, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. This is interesting. Well,
the idea is
don't think about what you're doing while you're doing it, unless you want your kid to just be a lascivious, you know.
Seems to be working so far. Yeah. So you try to keep this conception at the moment of orgasm, and you try to get the orgasms of the two people to match, like to happen together.
Boom. Okay. Whatever be the thoughts of parents during the intercourse, like that is the progeny. There's no doubt in this. If the sexual intercourse takes place on even nights, boys are conceived. If on odd nights, girls are conceived. I think that's probably referring to the Tithi or the lunar day being an odd or even number. Hence, it's better to have sexual intercourse on even nights. Duh, boys are better. Jesus.
It's interesting. It's verse 11 that brings this up too.
Yes, well, 12. What I've been reading.
I know, but it started.
Whatever the parents are thinking. Yes. Okay. The sexual intercourse takes place on even nights. Boys are conceived. On odd nights, girls are conceived. Hence, it's better to have sexual intercourse on even nights, leaving the first 7 days after the menstrual discharge. Okay. There were a couple of footnotes. One I skipped over. One we're at. So I'll read the one we're at right now. It says have sex on even nights if you want a boy. I mean, come on. Finish the sentence. Don't just say better. By sexual intercourse on odd nights, girls are born. On even nights, sons are born. It felt like it needed to tell us again. And then it's got a big, long Sanskrit thing. Do I need to read that? Ritu Ka, it's from the MS3, Manu Shastra, I would guess. Book 3, 45 to 48. Ritu Kala Bhigami Syat Swadharanirataha Sada. Parva Varjam Vrajechenam Tadvrato Ratikam Yaya Ritu Swa Bhavikaha Strinam Ratrayaha Shodash Smriti Chaturbhi Rittarai Sardha Mahobhi Sadvi Gahitehe. I don't know if there's an R in there or not. There's a speck a fly could have left. I think it's probably Gahitehe. Tasamadhyaschatastrastu Ninditaika tatha Trayodashi cha Sheshastu Prashasta Dasha Ratrayaha Yugmasu Putra Jayante Striyo Yugmasu Ratrishu Tasmad Yugmasu Putrarti Samvishe Dartave Striyam.
Thank you. This really gives you a sense of what this sort of poetic-like rhythm that gets going in these things is.
Not the way I read it.
Well, I think it does. It gives you a sense of this, sort of lilting rhythm that goes along, and how it comes in pairs, especially. You get shlokas, they call them, which are these two lines. They're marked clearly in the text. You get one line at the end of the first part of it and two lines at the end of the second part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so you'll see this over and over again.
The other footnote that I just skipped over was the one in 8, verse 8, which Brahma had removed this sin from Indra and apportioned a fourth in women. It's kind of an interesting one. I don't know if I can fully explain it, but the footnote is Indra slew Vritra and thereby incurred the sin of Brahmahatya, which is killing a Brahmin, which is not allowed, which in itself is kind of a ethically problematic issue. You know, why is it a greater sin to kill a Brahmin than somebody else? But you know, Brahmins made up the rules, so
that's part of the reason.
That's part of the reason.
The other thing is that obviously the Lord of Death kills Brahmins all the time.
He can get away with it.
They don't live forever or anything.
Yes, well, he takes them, or they come to him. I'm not sure it's seen that he's killing them as much as...
Okay.
But
I
don't know.
See what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I see what you're getting at.
Use the word.
But anyway, this all has to do with the menstrual cycle and the first 4 days of it, because basically it's saying that Indra slew Vritra, thereby incurred the sin of killing a Brahmin, because he was a Brahmin and he killed him.
Right.
Brahma removed the sin and apportioned the fourth part in the women during the days of menstruation. Now, I'm not exactly sure what that means, that he incurred, a quarter of the,
Maybe that's why they're impure, is because Brahma gave
Yeah,
them
well,
a
it's
little
sort of
bit
an
of
explanation,
this.
but not a very good one.
Well, it's still...
But it links these stories, or it links, this notion that it goes back to this initial act in which Indra killed a Brahmin, somewhat justifiably, as I recall, but I don't remember the exact story. Brahma exonerated him, but apparently had to do something with some of the icky bits or something that came across, and some gave them to women during the menstrual cycle. All right, 13:14. The 16 days from the appearance of blood are the days of heat for women in a general way.
Heat, eh?
They're in heat. The 16 days from the appearance of blood. So basically, the first 7 you shouldn't touch them, but for the next 9, every other day is girl, boy, girl, boy. Boy, oh boy, go for it. If conception takes place after the intercourse on the 14th night, the son will be virtuous and endowed with good qualities and good fortune. Ordinary people will never get such an auspicious chance, O Lord of Birds. Conception usually takes place within 8 days. On the 5th day, the woman is given sweet dishes, which is a good tonic for the embryo. Astringent and pungent things should not be taken at all. The woman's parts can be likened to a medicinal vessel. The seed of a man is like an ambrosial food.
So this is behavior for pregnancy.
Yeah, to encourage pregnancy. Now, it's sort of interesting because we know of, in China, the use of the persimmon, which is considered astringent, isn't it?
Well,
it's quite astringent.
It's all I know is that in the Chinese birth control formula that Pat used to take, persimmons cause the uterus to expand, whereas
which increases the opportunity for
tannic
fertilization,
stuff,
right? For conception.
Right. It gives you more surface area for the egg to attach.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas the stuff that she would take with alcohol to make it not good, like to make the uterus not big, small, she literally could feel it shrinking. It was tannic substances.
Sorry, I was reading
like
ahead.
Tea and things like that.
That's a very astringent.
It was astringent, but tannic. So I'm not certain, but persimmons make the uterus expand.
Conception usually takes place within 8 days. On the 5th day, the woman is given sweet dishes, which is a good tonic for the embryo. Astringent and pungent things should not be taken at all. The woman's parts can be likened to a medicinal vessel. The seed of a man is like an ambrosial food. 17. A man depositing his semen in her vagina is actually sowing a seed. For the proper growth of the child, she should avoid excessive sunshine. Cooling articles should be resorted to. On the night auspiciously selected for the intercourse, the pair should chew betel leaves and apply scents and sandal paste over their bodies. The ideas and thoughts that hover in the mind of the man at the time of intercourse have a lasting influence in molding the character of the child conceived.
So that idea again.
The semen mixing with the blood causes the fetus. The fetus develops in the womb like the moon in the sky.
What verse is that?
20.
Okay.
21. The consciousness is present in the semen in the form of a seed. When love, mind, and semen act in unison, a secretion takes place in the womb. If the blood is predominant at intercourse, the child will be a girl. If the semen is predominant, the child will be a boy. If the semen and the blood are of equal potency, the child will be a eunuch. The nucleus of the fetus is formed within a day. It becomes frothy bubble in 5 days. So, interesting. And I think eunuch is the unfortunate expression, but the idea that they will be a sort of neuter gender if they. I think the suggestion is that in most cases, one or the other element, the blood / female or the semen / male, and it's considered that one is going to be dominant over the other, depending on the qualities, individual qualities of the parents and how and what they were thinking about when they were doing it and stuff like that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, they're trying to list all the things that might influence the sex of the child.
It's interesting when it says, when love, mind, and semen act in unison, a secretion takes place in the womb. And that's the blood, presumably, that they're talking about. If the blood is predominant in the intercourse, the child will be a girl. If the semen is predominant, the child will be a boy. If the semen and the blood are of equal potency, the child will be of indeterminate gender or something like that, or 50-50. The nucleus of the fetus is formed within a day. It becomes frothy bubble in 5 days. Within 14 days, it becomes a mixture of flesh and lymphatic substances. It becomes a solid flesh in 20 days, sufficiently strong in 25 days, and after that it begins to develop gradually. The fetus would have assimilated completely the 5 elements within a month.
So
Earth, air,
this
fire, water.
description of conception onwards starts at 20?
Sure. Well, they 18, 19 are, pick an auspicious night and rub your body with unguents.
Right, but they really start talking about
Take a mint.
how it comes about
Freshen your breath.
after that.
Yeah. At 20 begins the semen mixing with the blood causes the fetus. The fetus develops in the womb like the moon in the sky.
That's a very interesting one. What verse is that?
20. First verse of this section.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
26. By the time the 2 months are over, the fat and the skin are evolved. The marrow and the bones are formed in 3 months. The hair and the heels are formed in the 4th month. The ears, nose, and the belly are formed in the 5th month. The throat, back, and the reproductive organs are developed in the 7th month. By the 8th month, all the limbs are completed. In the beginning of the 9th month, the child in the womb is fully developed. Whether the child be a girl or a boy or neuter, it comes out in the 9th or 10th month. Equipped with 3 energies, big-eyed, endowed with 6 koshas, 5 indriyas, senses, 10 nadis, channels in the body. 10 pranas or breaths. The child is, as such, is known by the yogins. Marrow, bones, semen, flesh, hair, blood are the 6 koshas of the Panchabhautika body of a creature. The Panchabhautika body develops in the 9th or 10th month. Then, being dragged by the wind in the womb, agitated with pain, nourished by the Sushumna nerve in the woman's womb, the same comes out. 34. The principles of earth, water, fire, wind, and ether envelop it through the coils of sinews. And I've never been really happy with ether as the word. It's nicely medieval, but it's, akasha is it's more like space or something. The vault of heaven. Okay. O Lord of birds, the parts predominant in the principle of earth are skin, bones, nerves, hair, and flesh. O son of Kashyapa, listen to those predominant in the principle of water. 37. The saliva, urine, semen, marrow, and blood constitute the parts predominantly in the principle of water. They should be realized carefully. Hunger, somnolence, thirst, lethargy, and brilliance, O Lord of birds, are considered by yogins as constituting the qualities of fire in the human constitution. Love, hatred, bashfulness, fear, and delusion are the qualities, O bird, derived from wind. Running, breathing, contracting, stretching, and thwarting are the qualities of wind in the physical body. O bird, resonant sound, cavity, gravity, hearing, and supporting everything are the qualities of Akasha. Ether, if you insist. 42. Ears, skin, eyes, tongue, and nose are the 5 sense organs. Hands, feet, rectum, phallus, and speech are the 5 organs of activity. There are 10 principal nerves in the body. Ira, Pingala, Sushumna. This we know from, they're the channels that go up the spine and sort of, go back and forth up the Sushumna, which is the Ira, Pingala. So then Gandhari, Gajajiva, Kusha, Yasha, Alambusha, Kuhu, and Shankini. And I couldn't tell you where those are located. The 10 vital airs, 45. The 10 vital airs stationed in the body are Prana, Apana, Samana, Uddana, Vyana, Naga, Kurma, Krikara, Devadatta, and Dhananjaya. The wind accords vitality and takes the assimilated food to the joints of the body. The food, as soon as it is taken, is split into 2 by the wind. The digested food enters the rectum, and the solid and liquid waste matter goes out separately. The prana blows on the gastric fire from below, over which food and water are brought by the wind. The fire thus blown separates the waste matter and the nutritive element. We're at 50. The waste matter goes out of the body in the form of 12 types of waste matter. Ears, eyes, nose, tongue, teeth, navel, rectum, pores of the body, nails, kidneys are the passages through which the waste matter gets out. The 6-chambered body is evolved out of the mixture of semen and blood. O son of Vinata, the roots of hair in the body are 35 million, and the teeth are 32 in number usually. The nails are 20, and the hair growing on the face and head are 700,000. Generally, the fleshy matter in the body weighs about 1,000 palas. O bird, the blood is 100 palas in weight, as mentioned by elderly persons. The fat is about 10 palas, and the skin is about that much. The marrow is about 12 palas in weight, and the blood plasma is 3 palas. The semen is 2 kurdavas in volume, and the menstrual blood is 1 kurdava. It does say menstrual, so. 56. The weight of the phlegmatic matter is 6.5 pullas. Feces and urine are in accordance with undigested food and drink. This is the physical body, and I shall mention its all-pervasive character. Pleasure, pain, fear, and welfare. These come to a person by actions alone. Out of the embryo, the wind drags the living being whose head is downwards and feet upwards, the palms of the hands on the flanks of the knees, the thumb and fingers of the hand on the knees, the eyes and nose on the back and the center of the knee. Thus the living being in the embryo of the mother develops gradually, the bones attain hardness, life is sustained by food and drink. The tubular organ Vapyayani is set close to the navel part. The child in the embryonic state is fastened with a cord to the aperture therein. He comes out of confinement along with the cord in the scheduled time. 62. In the womb he eats and drinks whatever is eaten and drunk by the mother. Thereby he receives nourishment and develops in form. In the womb he recollects the past events and happenings of world affairs. Tormented from all sides, he feels depressed. As soon as I leave the womb, I shall be very cautious. I shall never repeat mistakes. I shall so act that I may not be born again. The living being thinks thus and further recollects events of hundreds of past births, events which accrued to him from causes known and unknown. Then, at the scheduled time, the living being emerges from the embryo with the head downward in the 9th or 10th month. While leaving the womb, he suffers and faints. When he comes out of the womb, he cries in anguish. Pardon me. Then, with the touch of air, he obtains a little relief and comes to consciousness. Then the hypnotizing power of Vishnu overpowers him. Deluded by that power, he loses power of discernment. In childhood, he remains in that state. Passing through childhood, he attains youth and old age. So right before you're born, you know what's going on. But as soon as you come out, like Vishnu's illusionary, powers are cast over you and you forget. You start out like a boob again. 71. Then he succumbs to death. Then he attains birth. Thus, on the wheel of existence, he is made to rotate like the potter's wheel. Sometimes he goes to heaven, sometimes to hell. In heaven or hell, he reaps the fruits of his actions, his activities. These aren't the end points. These are just points on the wheel. Mm-hmm. 73. Sometimes when he has exhausted the merit of his actions, he descends to the earth by the residue of his merits. So you burn off your karma and then you get reborn. You get an opportunity to make more. Heaven or hell is not a permanent abode. This you should know, O best of birds. People going to hell suffer from extreme tortures, which they derive from their hellish activities. Their tortures increase when they see their companions enjoying in heaven. Extreme distress awaits the inmates even in the celestial region, inasmuch as the thought of fear haunts their mind from the very start. They enter heaven, that after their merits are exhausted, they would be thrown into hell. Looking at the tortures suffered by the people in hell, the residents of heaven feel that after the expiry of their merit, the same fate awaits them in hell. Thus, all the while they remain discomfortable in hell, in heaven. They're in heaven, but they can't enjoy it because they see those suffering people in hell and they know, God, once I've spent all my heaven credits, I'm going there.
Going there next, probably.
77. I guess, it's odd how a jiva in the embryo is put to great suffering. He suffers in childhood and old age as well. In youth, he suffers from the evil effects of vicious desires, jealousy, rage. He's afflicted by bad dreams. Old age ends in death, which is extremely painful. Being dragged by the emissaries of Yama, he's thrust into hell. From hell he descends to the earth to suffer again the utmost pangs of birth and death. Thus, on the wheel of this universe, people are made to rotate like the potter's wheel, and they're tortured incessantly tangled by the noose of their actions. So enjoy. Doesn't say that, but God. O bird, there is no pleasure whatsoever in this world, abounding in a multitude of sorrows. O son of Vinata, people should endeavor for salvation. Thus I've told you all about the child in the womb. I now answer your further query in the serial order if you desire to hear. This is long. Garuda said, I'm satiated with the answer to both of my queries. I implore you now to answer my third query too. You have asked me what should be done for a dying person. Now listen, I shall tell you my answer in brief to your query. Knowing that the person is going to die, he should be bathed with cow urine, cow dung, sacred clay, water from sacred rivers, and other waters sanctified by kusha grass. He should be dressed in pure, auspicious, clean clothes. He should be laid on earth, be smeared with cow dung, be strewn with darba grass with tips pointed to the south, and overspread with jingeli seeds. His head should be put in the east, or in the north, with gold in the mouth. O Lord of birds, shalagram stone and tulasi leaves should be kept nearby. An earthen lamp should be kindled. He should utter, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. He should draw Om at first, worship the same, and offer charity. He should worship Lord Vishnu with flowers, incense, etc., and pay homage, glorifying his deeds and concentrating on him with sincere devotion. He should offer charity to the Brahmins, poor, and the indigent. He should give up attachment for the son, friend, wife, fields, corns, wealth, and set his heart on Vishnu. He should recite Purusha Sukta if he is in distress, O good one. If he is dying and unable to recite, the sons and other relations should do the same. I have told you all that can be done when death is imminent. Now I shall tell you in brief the fruits of all these activities. Bath purifies a man, removes impurity. Meditation on Vishnu yields all sorts of fruits. A blade of darba grass takes him to heaven. There's no doubt in this. Bath with water mixed with jingeli seeds and darba grass is as much sanctifying as the bath at the end of sacrifice. A circle should be drawn around the dying person, for it is said Brahma, Vishnu, and Rudra, Lakshmi, and fire reside within the circle.
What verse?
97. Brahma.
Can I hear it again, please?
A circle should be drawn around the dying person, for it is said Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, Lakshmi, and fire reside within the circle. So the Trimurti, sometimes referred to, that are sometimes said to symbolize creation, expansion, and destruction. Lakshmi, who symbolizes auspiciousness and wealth of the material world, and fire, the element. One element made the cut. If he is laid on the earth with his head eastward or northward, O Lord of birds, he reaches the sublime region, if his sins are minimum in life. If 5 gems are put into his mouth, knowledge dawns upon him. In this shadowy world of unsurmountable difficulties, the following 6 incite devotion. Meditation on Vishnu, observance of vow on the 11th day of the month, Ekadashi. Listening to the Bhagavad Gita. Worship of the sacred plant, Tulasi, Brahmins, and cows. By muttering the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, one is completely absorbed in Brahma. Even by worshipping me alone, one can reach my region direct. In the observance of the entanglement, attachment vanishes by the knowledge as revealed in the Purusha Sukta. But one who has other sources as well obtains reward in proportion to the additional sources. All those sources he should utilize for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu. I have thus told you in detail the benefits derived from ablution, etc. The various features of the cosmos are present in the body as well. The various worlds, mountains, continents, oceans, and planets, and the planets, like sun, etc., are all present in the body. The sole of the foot is Atala, the netherworld of the same name. The upper surface of the foot is Vitala. The knee is Satala. The calf is talatala, the thigh is rasatala, the private parts are mahatala, the patala is in the hips. Thus the lower worlds are explained and must be noted by learned men. So these are the hells, but it's kind of interesting that the hells go from the upper to the lower inversely. In other words, Patala, which is the lowest of the seven hells, is in the hips, and the highest of the hells is in the feet. Figure that out.
Yeah.
Thus, the lower worlds are explained and must be noted by the learned men. The Bhur, now we're going to the upper worlds, is stationed in the center of the navel. The Bhuvar is above it. The Svar in the heart. Bhur Bhuva Swaha. The Mahar is in the throat. The Janas is in the mouth. The Tapas is on the forehead, and the Satya or Brahma is in the aperture of the head. Thus the 14 worlds are explained. The Mount Meru is in the triangular shoulder blade. The Mount Mandara is in the lower angle, i.e. hips. The Mount Kailasa is in the right angle. The Himalaya is in the left angle. The Mount Nishadha is in the upper surface. The Gandha Madana is to the right, and the Ramana is in the linear section on the left side. Thus the 7 great mountains are present in the body. The Jambu Dvipa is stationed in the bones, the Shaka Dvipa in the marrow, the Kusha Dvipa in the flesh, the Krancha Dvipa in the head. Dvipa means island. This is like the cosmology that puts the island of Jambu in the middle of the Milk Ocean. And, well, there's various oceans too, but these are the continents in a sense. So, Kusha Dvipa in the flesh, Krancha Dvipa in the head, Shalmali Dvipa in the skin, the Gomeda in the hair, the Pushkara Dvipa in the nail, and the oceans thereafter. The salt ocean is stationed in the urine, the milk ocean in the milky exudations of the body, the wine ocean, like milk, the wine ocean is stationed in the phlegm, the butter ocean in the marrow, the rasa ocean in the lymphatic secretion, the curd ocean in the blood, the water ocean in the region of excreta, and the ocean of sugarcane juice in semen. The sun is stationed in the sound circle, the moon in the spot circle, the Mars in the eyes, Mercury in the heart, Jupiter in the navel, Venus in the semen, Saturn in the umbilical region, Rahu in the mouth, Ketu in the feet. The planets are stationed in the body, thus the body is divided from head to foot. Those who are born must die too. Hunger, thirst, unconsciousness, and the affliction due to the bites and stings of serpents, scorpions, and flies have all their origin in Rudra. O bird, the base wretches who sin and who are devoid of mercy and virtue are dragged through scorching sand and blazing fire, seized by their hair by the servants of Yama. They live in the region of Yama, and when they are reborn, they will be born in cottages. O Tarksha, thus man is born in the mortal world as a result of his own actions. The 5 characteristics, viz., span of life, action, wealth, learning, and death, are created in men even as they are in the womb. Life is born as a result of action, it is dissolved as a result of action. Happiness or misery, fear or welfare are the results of actions. The fetus lies in the womb with the feet up and the face downwards. From the moment of birth, the Maya of Vishnu enamors and deludes the life. The life takes its birth with its association, brought about by its own actions. The life takes its birth with its association, brought about by its own actions. Due to merit, man enjoys pleasures in heaven and is fortunately born in a noble family. If he is sinful in actions, he is born in a mean-minded family. If he becomes poor, sick, foolish, sinful, and miserable. O son of a sage, I have thus told you the various features of the birth of a life.
Okay, very interesting. From a metaphysical point of view, we've got the principles of sex magic being taught, the principles that I would call circle magic are being taught. The concept of yoga, basic yoga, and how the various actions in yoga might affect you, and then astrology and the importance of the birth time being predetermined somehow by your past actions in other lives. All very interesting stuff.
All very interesting stuff. And we'd love to stay and talk about it, but I realize time is wasting and I need to get moving here.
All right.
So see you later.
Bye.